Hello Flosstube, welcome to Sew Me Sarah. It is Sunday the 25th of May 2025 and you're very welcome to my little corner of YouTube where we discuss all things cross stitch, a little bit of quilting today, very tiny bit, and sometimes other needlework activities and maybe a little bit of life stuff thrown in there. Today the light is really odd because we're in and out of showers. It's beautiful sunshine at the moment and it'll probably cloud over and be showery for 5 minutes or so later. But hopefully it's still good enough without having to put the ring light on for you to see. So there may be some adjustments to light as we go through the video this morning. Thank you so much to all of my returning viewers for coming back to share some time with me. I hope that you have your stitching ready and you're enjoying whatever project that you're working on as you watch. If you have happened upon my channel by recommendation, please let me know who recommended you or recommended me to you. Or if you have happened upon this channel by chance, then you're very welcome here. And I hope that you will enjoy the cross stitch that I have to share. Don't worry if I turn out not to be your cup of tea. You can always find another floss tuber who is. There are so many of us, so many and varied are we here on Flosstube. So please keep looking if you find that this channel doesn't float your boat. If you do like it here, perhaps you would consider liking the video and subscribing and joining the community here at Sew Me Sarah. This is my favorite community to be part of, and I hope that you will enjoy your time here. So since the last time, well, we've had glorious weather here in Northern Ireland, and it's worth reporting because it doesn't happen very often. We've had 3.5 weeks of beautiful sunshine and high temperatures. Now by high, I mean 23, 24 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is low 70s. That's hot enough for me, really hot enough for me. And is a good summer day temperature here. We don't normally hit much more than that. So it's very early in the year for us to have this weather and such a prolonged spell of it. Normally we have 2 or 3 days and then it disappears. So while we enjoyed it, some of us are wondering, was that our summer? And will we see any more sunshine in July? Along with the sunshine, I have been hit by hay fever. So hay fever isn't something that I grew up with. So I'm just in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe, I've had a touch of hay fever allergies around this time of year between now and July. And I'm not used to dealing with it and I don't anticipate it very well. But with all of the sunshine, blue skies, open windows in the house, I am either streaming or stuffed. Today feels like a stuffed kind of day, and so I apologize in advance if there are any kind of clearing noises from throat, nose. I'm not streaming, so at least the eyes aren't puffy at the minute. But it hasn't been a very pleasant the last couple of days. This is the worst that I've had hay fever, and I think it's just because of the beautiful sunshine. And then what happened was they forecast rain for this weekend, and I live quite rurally. It's a little housing development, but around us are all fields, and those fields are mostly for raising animals. And so they let the grass grow and then they cut. And with the forecast of rain this weekend, the farmers have been out in force trying to get a good cut on the grass for winter silage before the rain comes again. So we had some rain yesterday for the first time in 3 weeks or so. So yeah, as the farmers have been busy, I think it's just released extra grass pollens into the air. So apologies for nose rubbing, apologies for croaking and whatever else comes of that, but it has been glorious to see the sunshine and enjoy that for a bit. Last time I had a little share away going for the Humming Along kit. Now it's for the remains of my kit, so it's for the pattern, the remaining flosses, just so that you can do a comparison to DMC's and choose something fairly close. And I said I would share this with anyone who was interested if you used the word hummingbird in your comments. So there were quite a number of you who were interested, and I'm very jealous because there are a huge number of you who have hummingbirds in your gardens. I have seen a hummingbird once and was so shocked by its size. I did not realize. I think I was about 14, and we were on holiday in Tennessee, and we were actually at Dollywood, although it was called Silver Dollar City then. And I was waiting, and as I was waiting by this beautiful little plant pot arrangement, there was this tiny little, I actually thought it was a bug, so I wasn't so happy about that. And then I realized that it wasn't a bug, it was a hummingbird, and I was enwrapped. So that was really special that I got to see one once, because the hummingbird is not native to Europe and the UK. So those of you who do have them, I'm very jealous, who have them in your gardens, I'm jealous. Anyways, I did say I would share this with someone who was interested, and the winner is Faye, I can't read my own writing, sorry. The winner is Faye-G6H. Sorry, Faye. I have to write better next time. I was scribbling. So Faye-G6H. Faye, if you get in touch with me, use the email address that's in the show notes below, or you can contact me on Instagram in the direct messaging. I'm Somi Sarah on Instagram. And I will arrange to package this up suitably and send it to you. As I said, depending on where you live, I may not send the actual box, but I'll send you the reference picture and the patterns for the humming along. So congratulations, Faye, and thank you to all of you who showed an interest in that little share away. I do have another giveaway for you today. Now, last time I was telling you that it was coming up to my 4th anniversary here on the channel, and I wanted to have a special giveaway for that, and I still do, but I'm still waiting on one of the main items to arrive, and that turned out to be my fault because the company emailed me to say there was a little problem with my order. One of the other items wasn't in stock and they wanted some clarification about what to do with it, but I missed that email in a whole thread of emails that was going on and didn't reply to them. So I was thinking about it the other day, thinking that should have come by now. Tracked back and discovered that it was my fault for not responding to their query. Anyway, the order is through and now dispatched and on its way, but it just hasn't made it yet. So we're going to do the 4th anniversary giveaway next time, I hope. So thank you for your patience on that one. But the good news is that I do have a giveaway for you today. And this one is courtesy of the lovely Claire at Love Poppet, lovepoppet.co.uk. Claire has just released this gorgeous Pride and Prejudice kit. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And of course, it's the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth this year. So we've seen a number of Pride and Prejudice or Jane Austen styled releases this year from various designers. And this one from Claire is no less beautiful than all of the others. This one is like a book jacket, really. It's just gorgeous design, beautiful colors as always in Claire's designs. And this is a 32 count even weave kit. The kits are also available in a 16 count Ada. So if you're interested and want to pop over and purchase a kit, you have the choice of the 32 count even weave or the 16 count Ada. And I will put the link to the kit below so that you can find that nice and easily. So Claire kindly contacted me and asked if I would like a copy and said that I was free to stitch it myself or to give it away. So I'm going to give it away to you today. These are available for pre-order from tomorrow. Sorry, until tomorrow, which is the 26th of May, and then they'll be shipped. So they're shipping very soon. So if you order now, you won't have very long to wait at all. Everything is in here. You've got your pattern, your needle, your sorted threads and the fabric of your choice, all in this lovely neat little package. And I would like to offer this out to you today. So if you think you would like to have a chance to win this Pride and Prejudice stitch, please pop over to Claire's Kits page. I'm going to link that below, but if you go to her website, she has titles across the top and it says Kits. So what I want you to do is go to her kits page and have a good look through the kits that she offers from Love Poppet. And I want you to tell me in the comments which one of those kits you would love someone to surprise you with as a birthday present. So that's all you have to do, is choose one that you think is beautiful and write the name of that into your comment down below. And also use the word pride. So somewhere in the comment use the word pride, and then also tell me which of the Love Poppet kits you would be very happy to receive as a surprise birthday present from someone. And then of course you can tell your significant someones exactly where they can find said presents. Anyway, that is what you need to do to be in with a chance of winning the Pride and Prejudice kit. Please be a subscriber. Please like the video. I'm happy to send this internationally, so please don't discount yourself based on your geography. Go ahead and enter if you would like to, but you also have to be 18 because I will be asking you to provide me with a mailing address, and we need to keep that legal. So be 18, subscribe, like, and tell me which of the other Love Poppet kits you would be happy to receive as a surprise birthday present, and use the word pride. Okay, I know that's quite a lot today, but hopefully lots of you will be interested in this, and we'll have a good random draw next time I'm here on the channel. Oh, and thank you so much to Claire for offering this beautiful kit. I hope it will be a huge success for you. It's really dainty and beautiful. Okay. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention today is about the Historical Sampler Company's Advent calendar. I know it's only May, but companies are getting ready to announce their Advent calendars. Well, some already have, but to announce their Advent calendars and open pre-orders. So Historical Sampler Company pre-orders will open on the 20th of July. For their wonderful Advent calendar boxes. And if you were here on and watching the channel through last December, you will have seen that they gifted me one last year, and I was able to share with you the contents of that. If you're interested, go back and have a look at my December videos. I did a few extra videos in December so that every couple of days I could catch you up on what was in the Advent calendar. But it was a wonderful selection of gifts, little ornament designs and charts and stitching related goodies, all beautiful quality and beautifully presented as well. So I heartily recommend their Advent calendar if you feel like treating yourself or asking someone to treat you. Look out for the opening of the pre-orders on the 20th of July. In case you feel like you might forget about the 20th of July, you can actually register now an interest in hearing about the Advent calendar release. So you're not committing to the purchase or anything at the moment. There's just a page on their site for the 2025 Advent calendar, and at the bottom of that page there's a box where you can add your name and email address details, and then you will receive, in early July, you'll receive notification about the releasing of the pre-orders, so you won't miss out. So basically go now, sign up to that, and then you won't forget and you won't miss out. But hopefully I'll be back and able to remind you again before then. But this is the best way to make sure that you get all the information as it's hot off the press. I will put that link down below if I didn't already say that. Okay, let's do some stitching. I have a fully finish. I have 2 finished objects, and then I have some whips and some new starts. So I have a little bit of everything to share today. It's not huge progress on things. our family schedule has changed a little bit at home, and I just have a little bit less stitching time, but I'm still making the most of it as I can. So this one is a fully finished object, and it is All Things Grow with Love. This is a previous historical sampler company stitch along. It's from last year. I adored stitching this, and I'm so happy to have it framed, and I'm even happier to be sharing it with you today, because now it means I can go and hang it up. I've been keeping it over on the side so that I would remember to share it with you. So this is a frame that I purchased from Amazon. It's not fancy in any way. As you know, I don't do fancy or, flouncy fancy finishes. I like a little bit of detail, perhaps a little bit of lace or a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of fabric, but not too much, not too many frills and flounces, as I said. And that goes in my framing as well. I like a kind of fairly simple frame, and the paler woods work well in my home, and I just love this. It's really simple, and therefore it lets the stitching shine. So this is a beautiful, beautiful design from Historical Sampler Company. It is still available. I will put the link down below. All of the patterns that I share with you, all the stitches I share with you today, will have links or information, if I can't find a link, in the show notes below. But this one is still available if you fancied stitching it up for yourself. So I did see it on Catkin and Lily's recent, well, on several anyway of her recent episodes. She has it hanging behind her in a similar color of a frame, maybe slightly wider frame, and I thought, yeah, it works really nicely in that, and I'm gonna have something kind of similar. So so that's what I did. I just ordered this simple one from Amazon. So that is All Things Grow with Love, and that is my fully finished for this episode. Okay, the finished objects I have. The first was one that I had moved to be my daily thread, and it was Gathering Honey from Luminous Fiber Arts by Misty Purcell. I stitched it, I didn't add the buttons to it, I just stitched it inside these charts. And there are two patterns. There's a pattern on each of the pages, and one of them, they're both essentially the same, but one shows you the placement of the buttons basically, and the other is the full stitched version, so you've got what should be under those buttons. So that's what I did. I stitched it on a Swan Bay fabric linen, a 40 count Highbury gold. You can see that I am in hand stitcher. I have my fabric rolled up. I did press it, but it needs some best press to get out those lines. Anyways, this is 40 count Highbury gold from Swan Bay Fabrics. You can see the kind of creamy ivory background, and then the gold almost like powdered through it. It's beautiful, really beautiful color thread. It looks so much better back here than it does close up. And I stitched it 1/2 on the 40 count in Classic Colorworks Queen Bee. This was a start last year. I don't think I counted it in my 50 starts because it came along a little late in the year, and it arrived, it came along late in the year, and I started it because the fabric had arrived from Swan Bay, and I really wanted to start on the fabric. So that is my first finished stitch, which obviously leaves a gap in my daily thread stitching. And so what I decided to do for my daily threads was to introduce what will be a series of small stitches that I have promised to a friend that I would stitch for her, and I will explain all of that a little bit later on, and in a month or two's time. But you will see that my next lot of daily threads are new starts. They're not continuations of projects already on the go the way I normally would do with a daily thread. But they are new starts, and I'm going to just work through them, add them into my daily thread rotation and keep at them until those are done, hopefully sometime late June, early July, so I can send them off in the summertime to their new home. So the first one of those that I did, I introduced to the daily thread, is It Is Well by Emily Cole Stitching. A very cute little stitch, and if you've been here for a while, you'll know that I have stitched things with this little line on it several times. It Is Well With My Soul. It's one of my favourite hymns. It's very special, and I just love the sentiment of that as well. So this cute little spring summer pattern is one that I wanted to stitch for this friend, and that's what I started. So it's a new start. It's also finished now, and it was the daily thread. So I had a little bit of trouble with this because the called for fabric is 20 count Weathered Stone by Ada by Atomic Ranch. So Weathered Stone. Now I don't know what that looks like because it's not a fabric I have access to, but here in the picture it looks fairly like white, antique white. And these colors are very pale, so it must be quite white in order for those colors to show up. At least that was what I thought. So when I was choosing fabric, I chose initially an antique white, and I was stitching it. It was a 32 count. Let me see if I can put it on another board. A 32 count, and I was stitching 2 over 2, and I stitched quite a lot, as you can see. Now this is not all filled in, but I stitched the outline of bird back here. I did this all kind of in one night, and the next morning I had a look at it and I was so annoyed because the stitches are so ugly. I'm not even going to hold them up close enough for you to see because the 2 over 2 is embarrassing. It's uneven, unequal. It's just not pretty. So I tried a number of things. I tried down here stitching 1 over 2. I think actually it's a 36 count this. So I wondered then, would 1 over 2 be better? But you can see it's really hard to see some of the colors. I tried a few things and I really wasn't that happy with, you see here, you can just about see here that I've stitched something that is the color of the bird. So 1 over 2 on this 36 count antique white was not going to show up really very well at all. The stitches look nice, but the colors are too pale. They don't have enough saturation to pop off the fabric. So a little bit irritated with myself for my ugly stitching up here and for not noticing it while I think I must have just been ploughing on that night time, for not noticing it sooner. I thought, right, I have to do something to salvage this because it's a beautiful piece. And while there's no salvaging this actual part, I thought I need to figure out a way to restart this better. So I then tried a white, and obviously I'm not showing you anything here. I tried a white on Belana, which is a 20 count even weave, and that didn't really work either. And then I thought I need to think outside of the box a little bit and not just restrict myself to the color that this model has been stitched on. So I found in my stash some 40 count plein air. Plein air is the French for open air, outside, outdoors. That's the sentiment of plein air. So it's a kind of, I guess, a light sky color. I have seen it on 123 Stitch, called plein air / soft grey or soft blue grey or something like that. So if you haven't seen it, so it looks quite blue here, but it's actually really very soft blue. And I hope you will agree that it sets the colours off really beautifully. So this is 40 count plein air, which is a Spygart linen. It's not an overdyed linen, it's one of the regular standard Spygart line. 40 count, 1/2. My stitches look so much better. All of the colours pop really nicely and work really well. And I absolutely love this. I think it's such a pretty chart. So there you go. I'm not afraid to show you those stitches. So that is it as well, my Emily Cole. I'm going to fully finish this one, possibly as a little pillow like this one, or maybe framed. We'll see. I need to have a little bit of a think about that. But that is it as well. So I'm very happy with the changes that I made, and I'm very glad that I recovered it from the ugly 2/2 stitching. I don't normally dislike my 2/2 stitching. I have quite a number of projects that are 2/2, but just maybe the 36 count was just too tight for the 2/2 or something. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm much happier with this. So it was a start and a finish in the time that I've been away, and was my daily thread after the gathering honey piece. So I'm going to move on to another daily thread and work another chart that I want to send to this friend. So I'll tell you about that one when we get to plans. Oh, I should have said, sorry, I forgot to say, that the threads that I used here are the DMC alternatives suggested on the pattern. It's actually called for soie d'Alger floss, but there are DMC alternatives listed, and it's the DMCs that I chose. So that is it as well. On to my whips now. Whipgo calls for May, which I hadn't gotten to yet, are Gilmoreisms and Light. So that's a Barbara Anna is Light, and then Gilmoreisms is a pattern by the Forbidden Fibre Co. And this was a monthly sale in last year. I got a certain distance in, and then I just got too busy and didn't pick it up again last year. I've got to be honest and say that the stitching that I've done the last couple of nights for Whipgo, I've been really boring. Really boring. I don't say that very often about my stitching, but in this instance they have been boring, because it's just been some fill-in and some borders, and let me put that behind so I don't see through it. So this is a 20 count Ada. I think it's a silver grey Ada. In this one, I'm a big fat flincher, I was filling in the gold colour in this picture frame border. So that wasn't very exciting. And then down here I was counting out the next couple of borders, little boxes. So it wasn't very exciting. It was a lot of counting, and it seemed to take a long time to not get very far. But that is a couple of nights stitching, the 5 hours that I would normally allocate to a Whipgo call. So that's a teeny tiny little bit of boring progress on Gilmoreisms, and it's all very necessary to the end result. It will be fine in the end. I think you can see on camera this line. I wound the scroll rod up so that I can work down here. There's one more row of border boxes down here, and then that's it. But you can see this line is actually a kind of like a dust line or dirt line. So I'm not sure where that's been picked up from, but it is Ada and DMC, so it'll be able to be washed out. It'll be fine in the end. So I'm looking forward at some stage, not in the near future, but at some stage of doing the more interesting parts of filling in the little picture frame boxes. Those are the fun parts of this sal, but sometimes your vegetables are necessary, isn't that? We say that we have to stitch our vegetables first, sometimes in cross stitch. Anyways, that is my completion of that whip go number. And then I had Light, was called also. Light is a freebie pattern by Barbara Anna Designs. Sally and I both started this last year for our Fun for 50 Sal 2024, and lots of you joined us in this, and we've seen some really beautiful finishes, some changes in fabrics, changes in flosses, absolutely gorgeous. And every time I see one, it makes me want to get this one finished, along with all the hundreds of other things I really want to get finished too. You can still get this pattern as a freebie. The easiest way to get it is to go to Barbara Anna Designs on Instagram. Go to her profile, and there she has a link tree, and there is a link for it there. But it's in her Ko-Fi shop. That is Light. And here is my progress. It's not huge. I had some trouble with the little houses on the bottom because I put the wrong coloured roofs and windows on them. So when I spotted that last night, I unpicked them and I have yet to put them back in. I stitched it with the wrong colour entirely. I've started up here to fill in the start of the arbor that comes right the way over. So again, it doesn't look like a lot of progress for 5 hours of stitching, but that's where it got me to this time. So I'm just gonna try and keep working on her when I can. Next is my current favorite whip, I think. Well, actually, yeah, the one coming after it is pretty popular in my head too. This is the Bee Queen by Tiny Modernist. I started this last year, and Andrew, the runner stitcher, started along with me. And then this year, as Andrew is preparing for a marathon run at the end of August, he has introduced a challenge called Whip Into Shape, and invited his viewers to join him in his marathon training. He'll do the running and we do the stitching. So for every mile that he runs, we stitch 10 stitches into our piece of work. If you prefer, you can also stitch without counting your stitches. You can just stitch for the duration of time that Andrew runs for that particular day. So he has a whole schedule that you can get from his recent episodes. There's a link there to a Google Doc schedule, and he tells us that today he's running 6 miles or 11 miles, or it's a rest day or whatever. So then I'm not running anywhere. I am stitching the 10 stitches for each of his miles. So I think he's going to run 11 miles today. So that'll be 110 stitches to go in to the Bee Queen today. So this is an ongoing challenge for these next couple of months while Andrew is training. And I have been encouraged by Andrew to pick up my Bee Queen. And here she is. I'm making really nice progress. Actually, it's really lovely. The challenge is making me keep focused on her, and even if it's 30 stitches or 60 stitches at a time, then I am making progress. So last time I shared it, I had completed the second half of her bodice and her other arm. I have now filled in the skirt quite a bit, down as far as the scrolls will take me. I don't want to move her up or down in the scroll rods just yet. I want to stitch everything else that kind of fits before I move her. So That's why I haven't continued with her skirt any further down, and I've now moved up. This will be, it will say honey on it. I will put the back stitching in later. There'll be some back stitching lacing in the corsetry of her dress. This little honey dibber I stitched in as well, and then I've started on some of the floral and vines work that's over here. So I'm really pleased to see her progressing, you know, 30 stitches at a time, 40 stitches, 60 stitches, 100 stitches. It's a nice way to do this. And sometimes I'll stitch it on the day. So Andrew keeps his spreadsheet up to date, and we can just, you know, click into that and see what he's been doing. So sometimes I'll say, right, he did 30 today, he did 3 miles today, I'll do my 30 stitches, or I'll let them accumulate for a few days and catch up that way. Just depends on what I've got time for. But I am up to date and a little bit ahead, as in I've stitched more stitches than was required, which sometimes is the nice thing about these challenges, the likes of this challenge and the daily thread, is sometimes you're enjoying what you're working on and you just do go a little bit more. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's part of the challenge. I don't think you should say, oh, I should have stopped, or I should have stopped at one daily thread. If you're feeling it, then just keep stitching it. That's what I think anyway. So I'm really happy to see this amount of progress on the Bee Queen, and I just, every time I stitch on her, she just seems to get more and more beautiful to me. And she stitched 2 over 2 on a 36 count, is it 32 count actually? It's 32 count Murano, a Zweigart Platinum Murano, and she is 2 over 2. And my 2 over 2 stitching is okay here, you know. I mean, we're not talking perfection, but we're not talking the level of ugly that the other one was. So anyways, maybe there's just more room on this 32 count for the 2 threads. That's the Bee Queen, and nice little bit of progress there. The next one that vies for my favourite whip spot is the Secret Garden Stitch Along from the Historical Sampler Company. This is their current stitch along, and it is due for the final part release tomorrow. So I'm very excited about that because I am up to date, and I hope that this week I will be able to work on and finish that final part too. This is the Secret Garden. How pretty is this? So Joanna and Suzanne from Historical Sampler Company kindly gifted this to me, asking if I would join them in the stitch along and share the progress with you, which I have done. And I'm so grateful. So Joanna and Suzanne, thank you so much for inviting me to share in this one with you. I know I've done others and I love the other ones too, but this one I think is definitely up there among my favorites of your stitch alongs. I'm hoping that maybe I'll make this one into a cushion for a chair upstairs. I love it so much. So I can't wait to see how these flowers continue. We'll finish this little squirrel. There'll probably be maybe a bee or something. This little bee needs the other half of him. And oh, it's just adorable. It's so spring into summer, just typically gorgeous of Historical Sampler Company. So if you have been stitching along with this one, I hope you enjoy it too. I know a number of you have told me that you really like it and would like to get it. So don't miss out. Go and check that out. I'll put the links again for this one down below. So bringing on tomorrow's last part. Then we have the new starts. I have already seen it as well. That one was one of the new starts. And then the other new start that I have is one pattern but 2 pieces. So that is the Little Robin Designs Straighten Your Crown. This has been hanging about in my stash for a little while. I think she released it last year. 2024, yeah, I think it was a market release maybe last year, and I really liked it, and sometime probably last summer or autumn I purchased it. So it's been kind of hanging around and I really wanted to stitch it. I'm going to send one of these away and one I'm going to keep for myself. That's why there are two of them. I've decided to stitch in tandem, one to give away and one to keep. So I'm doing one in red for me, and it's a red soie d'Alger, or no, an Auvero Soie 103. It's a beautiful, beautiful red. This is the first time I've stitched with 103. We'll probably have a conversation about that at some stage. And then the other one is a gorgeous Gentle Arts Midnight. And it's blue, obviously. Gentle Art Midnight. And I was stitching these on Cedar River linens, which is my first time working with Cedar River linens. This is overcast. These have been pressed, and I know they're still a bit wrinkly. They will press out better. It's not a reflection of the linen, it's a reflection of me being an in-hand stitcher and not pressing them too hard to begin with. I do like to press them to show you, but I don't want to work them too much until they're finished and ready to be fully finished. So these are the beginnings of Straighten Your Crown. And I don't very often, in fact I don't think I've ever stitched in tandem like this, the two projects, but I just thought I've wanted to stitch this for myself for a long time, and then I really wanted it to be part of a gift. So I'm stitching the blue one for the gift and the red one for me. So that's been really nice. And this one I'm going to move into the daily thread slot so that it moves along and yeah, it doesn't take too long to finish up. So that is that new start. That's everything that I have been working on in the last couple of weeks. It's progress. It's all progress. I have been struggling, as you know. I've been a little bit sort of concerned that I'm not making enough progress, especially on finishing off my 50 starts, but I will figure a way around all of that, or just let go of the pressure. So that is all of my stitching. It's, you know, I've worked on quite a few things. I've made some good progress in some areas and maybe not as much progress as I would have liked in others, but that's all part of the journey. So my plans will be to keep going and finish the Historical Sampler Garden piece with that 5th release that's coming out tomorrow. That's exciting. I really need to work on the 4 Seasons Barbara Anna piece. Want to work on my Spring Lady. I started her, I got off to a really nice start, and then I just left her, so she needs to be finished before the 21st of June so that I can start the Summer Lady, and she will be. I've had a few other priorities, so this week I will hope that it will be her week, along with the Historical Assembler Company Secret Garden piece, so we'll bring spring back out. And then I'm going to keep working obviously on the daily thread crowns, and once they're done, I don't know if that will be in the next 2 weeks or not, but my next introduction to the daily thread will be this small, called Sweet Wing Studio Blessings Overflow. My cup overflows with blessings. It's a little verse from the Psalms with teacups, coffee cups and teacups. So I'm gonna stitch this one too. I will, as I said, slip it into the daily thread slot if that becomes available in the next couple of weeks. So those are my cross-stitching plans for between now and the next time I see you, which I hope will be in 2 weeks' time. In terms of getting connected in the community, I wanted to let you know that Laura over at Stitching by the Shore has released information about the ATC swap, the Artist Trading Card Swap. I'm going to let Laura explain all of that to you. I will link to her video down below. But an artist trading card is a little, let's say a little kind of postcard, about 2.5 by 3 inches, I believe. and you just stitch a little design that fits on that size of a card, and then you mount it somehow onto the card in whatever way you would choose. And then you can send it to Laura, and then she'll send you one that someone else has stitched. So there's a swap going on in the community. It's been very successful. She's been doing it, I think, for over a year now. And the summer one is just getting started. So if you want all of the details for that, please try Laura's link down below and figure out how you can get involved. The one special thing that I want to share today is not my work, obviously, but this is a finish by Kerry of Roxy Floss Co. And it's a finish of the Rosewood Manor chart Turkish Delight. And here is the finish. Now, I screenshotted this from the Evertote Between Two Whips Flosstube, sorry. The Evertote Between Two Whips Flosstube that came out this week from Caroline and Kerry. And Kerry was quite rightly and proudly showing her finish of the Turquoise Delight chart. So one of the reasons that I wanted to share this with you, and the reason that I think this is so special, is because this chart to me, forgive me, but this chart to me looks like nothing in terms of the photography on the chart cover. So I have the pattern here because I saw Kerry start it, work on it last year sometime, and I thought that's really much nicer than it looks, and I bought the pattern. But this pattern I would never ever have bought on the strength of how it looks here. It just doesn't do anything for me here. And that's not to say that you won't love it or someone else, won't think it's wonderful and it's amazing and the bright colors are beautiful and fantastic. And that's absolutely fair and valid. I'm not saying anything about that, but it just didn't do anything for me. And what's even worse is, as an online purchaser, so someone who doesn't have an LNS that I can go in and see the charts in person, never mind samples in person, but I can't even see the chart in person. So I am looking at a photo image of this on a website, and it looks even worse. Worse as in indistinct. I think that's what the problem is. It's not that it's ugly or anything like that, but it's indistinct. I can't really tell what the detail of the pattern is. But when Kerry decided that she was going to stitch this on a more neutral fabric, and she changed the floss colors to suit herself and to a Roxy Floss conversion, because of course she is the dyer of Roxy Floss threads, she brought this alive for me, inserting again just to remind you how different this looks. And it's not that it's different, obviously it's exactly the same stitch, but Kerry's version is so much more distinct. The pattern, the elements, the motifs, the lettering, everything in it is so much more distinct for me than on this this color of thread in this photography, whatever way this is presented. And I don't mean to do a disservice to the pattern or anything else, but for me, it's amazing. This is so special to see this differently. And as I said, I would never have chosen this, but I have picked up the pattern because of Kerry's stitch, and she has recently finished it, and I wanted to share it with you. So please, don't just take these couple of photographs, go over and watch the latest episode of Between Two Whips and see for yourself. Watch the whole thing because it's wonderful, but if not, scroll into that part where Caroline and Kerry are sharing Kerry's wonderful finish. So I just wanted to share that with you for some inspiration, and at some stage, I'm not going to start that anytime soon, but it is going into my list of biggies to stitch in the future, and I will stitch it in a similar color palette or yeah, something along the lines of what Kerry has chosen. She does actually have her color conversion posted on the Evertote website. If you are interested in that, you can see all of the colors that she changed to. So that is all of the cross stitch chat. I do want to share with you a few quilt blocks. So last time I shared with you this quilt, Home in the Middle. It was a block of the month, and this was gifted to me by my friends Stacey and Nancy, and I finally got around to preparing some of the blocks. Last time I showed you the first 5, and since then I have prepared the next 4 of the blocks. So let me share those with you very quickly. I know you won't all be here for, oh, it's really pouring with rain out there now. You won't all be here for the quilting, but I promise it's just a couple of minutes because there's not a lot to share. These are not even quilted yet or stitched on, properly appliqued on. They are fused on at the moment. So there's the little tree with the cat and the dog on. And then the next one is the wistful cat watching the birdhouse. And that bird up there is giving him a telling off. And that's the next one. And then we have a little happy rabbit hopping over the flower pot. A beautiful flower vase. Gorgeous. Then we have the boy, and he's the last one of the 9 of the blocks. And where the girl was Charlotte, this boy is my Andrew. So I've got the girl and the boy in the quilt. So those are the blocks. As I said last time, it's a real treat to have something that's so beautifully prepared. This was a kit from Shabby Fabrics. All the pieces have been laser cut and pre-fused. So really all I had to do was press them out and set them up in the right spots and fuse them down. So it's not massive progress yet. I will hopefully start to work on appliquing them the next Friday morning that I can get free. I have only had one free Friday morning. This weekend is a bank holiday weekend in the UK. So at the last Monday in May in the UK is spring bank holiday. And the schools are off here in Northern Ireland. And Charlotte's school also took Friday as well to make it a long weekend. So I lost my Friday morning. I had to spend Friday morning at the play park instead. That was exciting. Not. But anyway, so when hopefully I'll get Friday morning again soon and get back to this, but I'm really pleased to have the 9 blocks at least started and ready. They're sort of fused and ready to make some stitching progress on now. So that is, that's those, and we'll see how that goes. So that is really all for today. I wish you joy with your stitches, I really do. And I encourage you all, because I want to share new floss tubers with you, but I don't actually have time to watch every new floss tuber. And I want to encourage you today that if you see a new floss tube coming up, a Flosstube #1 coming up in your algorithms, in the suggestions on your YouTube channel, or your YouTube login, then please go and check them out. Give them a watch, encourage them. If you like them, subscribe to them so that you can see them again and support them. I would be nowhere in this channel if it wasn't for people giving my Flosstube a chance, for clicking on #1 and seeing what I was about and subscribing so that you could come back and catch a little bit more. So please, please, if you can and if you've got the time, go and see if you can find someone who is new on Flosstube, and there are so many at the moment, so many new folks joining the Flosstube community. So go and see them and subscribe if you like them, and share all about them too if you have your own channel or your own Instagram. Tell your friends and let them know, and help those people grow their channels too, and keep this lovely community and this lovely hobby that we have well and truly alive. So that's it. I will be back in 2 weeks, I hope, and until then, as always, please stay well and stitch happy. Bye!